Chronicles of Crime 1400. This is a new game in the Chronicles of Crime family. It's a game system I like very much. Cooperative or solitaire, very narrative oriented. Basically, it is a hybrid between mystery fiction and a game. You can almost see it as interactive mystery fiction. The game is divided into scenarios. Each scenario is its own story, and so because of that there is little replay value. If you go through a case and you don't solve it entirely, you may play it again, but there'll be a point where you figured out all or most of there is, and so you can't really replay the scenario. You can optimize it, but again, there's not much fun in that. And that is something that all Chronicles of Crime games have in common. Another thing, the real core, the real heart, is the hybrid, the interconnection between physical components and the phone app. Unless you play with the phone, you may play it on other devices. What the app does is it reads the codes that you find on different game components that represent different things in the world of the story, and by scanning those apps you unlock contents. For example, there will be certain cards representing locations. By scanning the code of the location, now you are in that location, and the app tells you, using a text, if there is somebody there and who is there. Okay, 2 people are there. Then you take cards corresponding to those characters. By scanning the code of one of those characters, you start a conversation with them. And from that moment, while you're in that conversation, anything that you scan represents something that you're asking them about. So if I'm talking to person A, I'm in that conversation menu with A, I scan B, then A will tell me what they know, what they think about B. If they want to tell me, it's a story, so maybe these are witnesses and they're not telling me the truth. If I scan an item while I'm in a menu conversation with a character, then the character will tell me about that item, or will tell me they don't know, or they will refuse to tell me because it's a mystery and they don't want to be connected with certain clues. So after a while, you really get the illusion, the sense that you are navigating this parallel fictional world, you're talking to people, and the story unfolds. Again, each case, each scenario starts with a mystery, with some locations, some characters, and as you talk to them, the mystery unravels, and at the end, you can try to solve the case. You can also, in some cases, examine the scene. So you're gonna look around in virtual reality style, and you're looking at the scene, and you're trying to pick up possible things that seem interesting. Maybe there's a stain of blood, there is a melee weapon, there is some parchment there, writing tools, stuff like that. And then you have a deck of cards that represent those possible clues. There is a card that says letters, writing tools, melee weapons. So I look at those cards, and by scanning them, if what I saw in the image is relevant, then the app will tell me, oh, then the weapon that you saw there and such and such and such. So it's a simple system. Well, now that we have it, so in retrospect, oh yeah, why didn't I do it early? It seems so easy. But of course, it feels pretty fresh. Before Chronicles of Crime, I did not know of any games that managed to give me such a strong sense of interactive mystery fiction and such a strong sense of immersion, because the images of the locations really help to create the sense of immersion. The portraits of the characters you're interacting with, the fact these characters move around, so again that creates the illusion that you're really interacting with a world. You're going to also the location where the character was there last, but the character is not there anymore, and you have to figure out what they might be. Oh, they went home. You go home, yeah, but now it's too late, because the app also keeps track of the time in the world of the story. So it's a really impressive experiment to me in interactive fiction, and it has just the right balance between the physicality that I like from tabletop games that create that visual connection with the world of the story, and all the narrative potentials that you have from the fact that your phone is delivering extra content and delivering descriptions, delivering story, delivering conversations. It's just a great narrative experience. This is for Chronicles of Crime in general. This set in particular, 1400, is set in medieval Paris. It's the first historical mystery that we have. And it has 2 Three new main mechanics. Let's say that they're not in the standard base game, as far as I can remember. Well, two I'm sure, one I don't remember exactly. One thing that you have here, well, you are a knight and you're investigating mysteries in medieval France. Why that? It's sort of like a mission because you have visions. You're known for, you're haunted by visions of crimes, and after a while I guess people started knowing about this and they come and pester you. Hey, somebody died in my house. I know, I had a dream about that. So at the beginning of each case you're told about the visions that your investigator had, and these visions are represented by cards. So each case you're going to get some of those cards out and you're going to look at them. And that is very, well, first is very fun. It adds a little bit of extra flavor to the story, that supernatural element. But also they give you clues because you're trying to figure out, hey, who is this person? What is happening in this case? Those visions can be pretty cryptic, or they're about common actions but people that you don't know. And they really add to the story. There really is a lot going on there that you can interpret, and maybe you misinterpret them at first. If you think you solved the case, but one of those visions don't make sense, that doesn't make sense at all, then maybe you have missed something. So there are interesting functions between guiding you and letting you know maybe that you're missing something. Sometimes misleading you, but in a fun way that doesn't feel too doesn't feel unfair. Another mechanic you have allies. You have 3 family members. The location represents your house. When you go there are 3 family members that you can, again, scan and ask them for information about specific things. The good thing is that they're always available. They're always there for you. You have a monk who is an expert on written materials, a merchant who is an expert on items with a great expertise, and then a spy who's an expert on people. And so, again, those reliable things. They remind me of something that we have in the grandfather or grandmother, who knows the gender, of all narrative mystery games. That would be Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective, in which you're also going around in a paragraph-based kind of situation, but you have a list of contacts you can always go to. You know, the guy at the morgue and the journalist and the police inspector. You can always go and talk to them and ask them about the present case. So the fact of these reliable people in your house feels thematic because they look like experts that would be able to share knowledge in the medieval scenario that we have here, but at the same time also connects the game to the tradition of mystery games with a narrative. And they just give you more layers, more things to do when you get stuck. Finally, the other new mechanic we have here is the dog. I'm not a big fan of dogs in general in real life, so also I'm not a super big fan of dogs in games. Why? Well, that's just the way it is. And you have a card representing a dog. The dog is always with you. You can never be alone. The dog is always there, pestering you. No, not really. The dog is there trying to help you. What happens is that you scan the dog, and then whatever you're scanning is something that you're asking the dog to sniff. I don't know. There are times where it works. In general, most of the times we got frustrated because either the dog had no idea what the item was or got nervous and they give us information, or was giving us very, very obvious information. I'm talking about us because I played the game. The game comes with a tutorial and 3 scenarios. Again, each playable pretty much only once to the full enjoyment. And I played 2 of the scenarios. There are one easy, medium, and hard. The easy and the hard I play with my daughter Amelia, who is now 10. The medium I play by myself. And I enjoyed actually every scenario. I think it's a very strong title in the series. I find that it has all the things that I like about Chronicles of Crime, but it also adds those little touches here and there that are interesting mechanically. Of the new mechanics, the divisions are my favorite one because I think they really add a lot to the experience. Maybe some of you are purists because we are Sherlock Holmesian, so it's all about rationality and science, etc. So it adds a little bit of that supernatural element, which, however, we add in other sets for Chronicles of Crime. But despite that supernatural element represented by divisions, then the cases are, well, you solve them as a mystery. It doesn't feel like a fantasy game at all. It's a standalone set, so it's also great that if you're interested in the theme, in the topic, you do not have to start somewhere else. You can start from this one and then go to the original Chronicles of Crime if you want to try that one. Again, 3 cases, not that much, but we know when it comes to comparing board games with other forms of entertainment, if you have a couple of friends, you're going to the movies or you're renting a movie these days through some direct access online. It's 2020 quarantine, we don't go to the movie theater. Or you go out, or you order food, you go out for a dinner. Basically a game that you can play 3 times with your friends. Actually, it still fares pretty well when compared to other forms of entertainment that cost you as much and they don't entertain you nearly as long. And once you had your food, that is gone. Once you watch your movie, you didn't like it, too bad. Movie's gone, money's gone. Here, you play each case once and at least you still have the game. There are no legacy aspects. You don't destroy the copy. So you can give it to a friend. You can resell it. You can trade it. You can donate it. You can host a game night after COVID, after quarantine. You can host a game night and just be sort of like a game master, maybe help your friends when they are stuck. So, although it's a game with a limited, with a sort of expiration date, with a limited number of times that you can use it, doesn't have infinite replay value. It is still a very strong title because replay value maybe little, but the play value is high. I found this case is pretty compelling, pretty strong, definitely at the level of quality I expect from Chronicles of Crime, because I really enjoyed the previous cases and I enjoyed these ones also very much. This gives you a general sense of what I think. I'm going to share more ideas now with my special guest, Amelia. I filmed another segment in which she also wanted to share some opinions with you about her experience of playing the game. So, without further ado, now the second part of these conclusions with special guest, my daughter, Amelia. So Amelia, you have been playing 2 of the mysteries of Chronicles of Crime 1400. You played the easiest and the hardest. So tell us a little bit about your experience.
Well, I really like in Chronicles of Crime.
You mean in general?
Yes, in general. How when you're playing, it depends on the order of things you scan. Like if I scan first a plant and I ask someone about a plant, and they tell me something about the plant, like this plant is very poisonous, so you should not try to eat it.
And that's totally not a spoiler, right? That's totally not a spoiler, sure. They're good.
And then you go and figure something out, and you ask some other questions to other people, and then you come back to that person and ask about that same plant again, and then their answer might change. Like, I actually think I've seen this plant before. It's very dangerous.
Mm-hmm. And so this is something we like about all of the Chronicles of Crime game. Now, this one was set back in the day, in the Middle Ages, in Paris. Did it feel different? Was there something fun about the setting, the characters that was specific about 1400?
I don't know. I think it was really fun. But I think all the Chronicles of Crime games are pretty fun.
Mm-hmm. Did you find that the mysteries were very hard? Were they reasonable?
The first one was reasonable, but the hardest one was hard, but it's the hardest one.
So that's fair.
Yeah, I think the thing that says hard is definitely correct.
What do you think about the dog?
He's kind of useless. Like, we scan something like, say, blood, and he says he can't find any human scent on it.
Yeah.
So, pretty useless.
Most of the time, so they cannot pick up a trail, cannot pick up any clue, or picks up obvious clues. So, thank you, dog.
Yeah.
The visions, that's another new thing.
Oh, yes, the visions are cool, because I'm like, when we reveal a new character, I'm like, oh my god, that person from our vision! And that
gives a sense of what they may be, how they may be related to the mystery.
Yeah.
Anything else you would like to add?
I definitely suggest this game for people to play.
Why?
Because it's very fun, and it is definitely a family game. And you can play, I mean, the box does say it's for ages 12 and up, but I'm 10 and I really like it, so I definitely suggest it.
And there is a lot of murder, blood, and stuff like that, so it's a
Yes.
perfect family game. At least for our family, I guess.
Yes.
Thank you, friends. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, thank you.